Well, June is Men's Health Month, and what that may typically mean to you is that it's time for a physical, but not all issues for men are physical. Men have emotional and behavioral problems too. Guess what? They just don't talk about it. Dr. Jerome Lerner is here from Sierra Tucson and here to explain the stigma surrounding men's mental and emotional health, and if there is an issue, how you can help the man that you love. I am so glad that you're here, Dr. Lerner. I know every lady just zoomed in to this segment right here, because why is it that men have such a difficult time communicating or explaining their problems or their issues, talking about it?
Men are trained, we are culturally trained to be doers and not feelers and talkers. So when men are struggling with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, trauma, addiction, they tend to stuff it and just keep going and try to deal with it.
And it's kind of a generational thing as well. You know, older men, the older generation deal with it a little bit differently with the younger generation, or do they? Or is it just the same across the board?
I think there's an evolution. Pre-World War II, men were men. That was a definition, you know, guys did the work. They were tough, they kept going. We have a me generation now, and they tend to be able or explore talking and feeling, but a lot of guys are caught in between those cultural changes.
Yes, but this is pretty alarming, because there are some statistics out there that are going to blow your mind, and that is the fact that the suicide rate for men is actually quite high, unexpectedly high.
Yes. So men commit 4 out of 5 suicides. So we're looking at a very high rate. Men are 3 times as likely to struggle with addiction. So while men don't show up for treatment, they don't report the problem, they are struggling and many are suffering.
Yes, and if you know someone who is suffering, who really is at that point, who needs, you know, some help, some serious help, tell me about some of the programs and things that you do at Sierra Tucson that can help, not just men, but women too.
Sure. Sierra Tucson is a full-service residential treatment facility. Of course, we treat men and women of all ages, but today's talk is about men.
Yes.
We have services and programs for addiction, depression, mood disorders, trauma, and chronic pain. And within that, we have additional services, both conventional treatment, integrative services, and additional services I think that a lot of men would benefit from. First responders, red, white, and blue for military folks. So men can definitely benefit when they're struggling with mood, trauma, addiction.
Yes, and you know, as loved ones, when we're watching perhaps a man in our life who we know perhaps needs some help, what can we do? What should we do to make that initial step towards getting them the help that we think they, or know perhaps that they need?
Sure. If there's an opening to talk about it in a non-judgmental way, by a spouse, by a loved one, that's great. If you need to reach out to clergy or an employer, or even the EAP, the Employment Assistant Programs, lots of ways to connect. Sometimes when things are severe and scary, it's time for an intervention to really sit down and insist on treatment.
Okay. Are you finding that more and more men today are accepting of treatment?
Yes, things are changing. And, you know, we have an epidemic of addiction, and we have this epidemic of suicides, and so men are beginning to realize, and their loved ones beginning to realize, just how important it is to move past the silence.
Yes, we're all a work in progress, aren't we, Dr. Lerner?
We sure are.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and sharing that, and perhaps opening the door for the man in your life. It's okay to talk about it. Let me tell you where this program is located. Sierra Tucson, they are in Tucson. Here's the address. It's 39580 South Lago del Oro Parkway, as I mentioned, in Tucson. A phone number that you can call for more information is 800-624-9001, and learn more at their website at sierratucson.com.